So FR is right around the corner. We have the Monday live stream happening. I wanted to do one last huzzah video to conclude this Lufenia era and give my take on all of the best BT units that came out so far. Today I'm going to be doing the top BT plus units in Dissidia Opera Omnia Global before FR. Number 10, we have Kiaran. Kiaran was a fantastic all-around support. If you needed someone with great auras, great HP cap-ups, great brave gains, Kiaran was the man to go. On top of that, his damage wasn't too bad either. He's a pretty decent AoE damage dealer, even though he's obviously not on the level to be a sole DPS. But like I've said many times, a support unit that can do good damage is never a bad thing. The problem with Kiaran is, while he is a jack of all trades, he is also a master of none. He's great all around, but there's no one particular thing that he is especially good at. He doesn't really heal, there are units that provide better defensive capabilities than him, and he doesn't really bring anything super unique to the table. He's just there as a when in doubt support and for consistency. Still a great green in my opinion. Number 9, we have Laguna, arguably the best debuff unit in the entire game. He has great off-turn damage with his BT debuff, he inflicts a lot of great debuffs, and his damage, if you include the LD follow-up, is not too bad. If you're using his skills at minimum, he's going to be doing 4 AoE HP dumps. His LD and his EX do amazing damage. And on top of that, if you include someone like Ace or Sice into the team, his Desperado debuff is going to be going off a lot more than usual. That damage is going to rack up very, very quickly. The reason why I didn't put him higher in the list is because you kind of have to play around him in order for him to truly work. You're going to have to account for the fact that he might use up all of the debuff slots for an enemy. If you try to add another debuffer in the team on top of him, it's just not going to work. Second off, he will need help in order to get the most damage possible out of him. If you leave him to his own devices, even if he does inflict great debuffs on the enemy, he still will not be able to do max damage without some sort of call or support unit to back him up. He's amazing what he does great damage, but you are going to have to play a little bit around him, and you're going to have to be a little cautious about how many debuffs you put in the enemy. Number 8, we have Machina, the only BT plus unit in this entire video that has not yet received a C90, and he's still top 10. Isn't that crazy, ladies and gentlemen? Machina is still one of the best single target DPS units in the entire game. His burst HP attack is still an absolute menace. His follow-up slash counter attack is still fairly relevant in the game, and on top of that, he's just freaking cool, bro. This dude has Captain Levi's voice, and his BT theme is one of the best in the entire game. He's just so freaking cool. The only downsides that you have of Machina is that whenever he uses his BT HP attack, he does delay himself, albeit that problem is very solvable now. On top of that, Machina does need help doing the most damage possible. Given the support units we have nowadays, it's really not that hard to do. He is still a boatload of fun to play, and despite being around before C90 era, he is still very, very usable. For being a pure DPS unit, he has immense longevity in the game. The way his character works is just all around amazing, fun, and very abusable. Number 7, we have Locke. A lot of people might have forgotten how great Locke was, given how many great BT plus units we've had lately, which is a shame because he still is one of the best BT plus units. His Genji Glove Master Scroll attack still does some of the best single target damage you will see. His BT auras are still absolutely broken. He essentially gives everyone a Bosch mechanic. His effect makes it so that everyone's brave damage ignores defense, and on top of that, your team will never ever get broken. Those 3 things are still all very relevant with boss fights, so while not a whole lot of people use him, including me, he still is one of the best units in the game. The only thing that he doesn't have is party-wide last stand. If he had that, he would easily be top 5 for me. Number 6, we have Vaughn. Vaughn is essentially the mix of Machina, Lon and Rain, and Ursula. His BT effect allows him to raise the brave floor of everyone, meaning that their brave will never deplete below 20% of their max brave. Doesn't matter if the enemy has no debuffs on it whatsoever, Vaughn will always be hitting for weakness damage. His LD is basically just a better Lon and Rain LD. Does just as much damage, but it's more consistent and more flexible. If you use either of his skills at their maximum power, they're going to be doing just as much damage, if not more, than Machina's. And the the great thing with Vaughn is because of his BT effects and BT auras, he doesn't need as much help as Machina does. So if you loved Machina, there's really no reason why you wouldn't like Vaughn either. Single target wise, he is the best in the entire game. Going to the top 5, starting off, we have Yuna, easily one of the best support units in the game. She provides amazing healing that's both consistent and powerful. She can cleanse your party whenever you need. Since her main forms of attack are HP variants, you're not going to be running out of skills anytime soon. And she single-handedly has the strongest BT finisher attack in the whole game. If you have more than one enemy on the battlefield, pop up her BT phase with a Rain's Call, use her EX and LD, and then just go ham with the HP attack. I swear it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life, guys. For someone who's not even considered to be a DPS, her BT phases are some of the strongest out of anyone here. It makes no sense, but at the same time, it's Yuna, so it does make sense. She's a fantastic unit inside and out. The only things that she doesn't have is a way to prevent debuffs and any defensive capabilities. But if you have a Rising Call or a Lena Call, those two can be mitigated very fast. Number 4, we have Titus, one of the best damaging units in the game and easily the best turn hogger in the game. Sorry, Terra stans. Titus brings everything amazing that a turn hogger usually would, but he has way more skill uses than others, and he breaks the enemy unlike any other turn hogger really does. So in a way, he kind of is a way better version of Lightning. All you really need to do is set up his BT attack first to get the effect, and after that, you can pretty much just start hogging. He is that simple to play. This might be a little surprising for some people to say. I think when his BT Plus came out, he was more powerful than when his BT came out. When his BT came out, he was still like amazingly fantastic, but I wasn't outright killing enemies from his BT phase as I am now. I don't know if that's like the best way to compare how good he is now to how good he was before. Maybe it's because I have Garnet now. That's probably why. And if you pair him up with Sisney, the enemy's dead. It's a math equation at this point, right? You have Newton's first, second, and third laws, and then you have the fourth law, which is Titus plus Sisney equals death. I think that can just be considered a universal constant. Number 3, we have Ramza. I gushed about Ramza so much in my top 5 support units, so I'm not going to do too much of that. I'm just going to give you the TLDR. Godlike auras, godlike BT effects, godlike damage for a support unit, godlike utility, godlike EX, godlike HP attack, and single-handedly the best LD attack in the entire game. That's what Ramza is, essentially. If you have him in the team, boss HP will melt like butter. And you pair him up with Garnet, oh lord, that enemy gonna need Jesus. That's all I'm saying. Getting into number 2, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Zach. What's his last name? Zach Fair, which is a weird last name to have because he is anything but fair. Case in point, you set up his BT, no one dies. Unless the Lufenio orb ticks down, that's the only way you're going to die. Zach provides a comfort to your team that no other unit really does, besides maybe Aiko. But even then, she resets everyone's skills, so it's not the most practical if you have BTs in your team. You can be a lot more reckless, you can be a lot more experimental with your team if you have Zach. And that doesn't take away at all the fact that Zach does amazing damage by himself. His EX does 5 HP dumps, his skill 1 does 6 HP dumps, and I believe his skill 2 does 5 HP dumps. That's fantastic. For someone who's supposed to be a tank, he is a huge menace for single target damage. One fun combo that I've been using lately is using Zach with Galoof. You take advantage of Galoof's amazing counterattack, add that on top of the fact that your team will never get damaged because of Zach. You have an invincible team with those two. Easily the best tank in the game, one of the best attackers in the game, easily one of the best greens in the game in general. Now we get to number 1. I feel like I broken record right now when I say that pretty much everyone should know who this unit is. I mean, if you don't know the unit I'm going to reference in a couple of seconds, then I really think you should like get out of your rock. Just the number 1 BT plus unit in the City Opera Omnia Global before FR is Jigron. I think Jigron is just one of the best units in the game. He does amazing AoE damage, he does rainbow damage on top of that, and when it comes to single target damage, he is one of the best in the game, if not the best. If you go to any Discord server, any boss run on Reddit, 9.999 times out of 10, you're going to see the person use Jigron in their team. He is that broken, he's that ridiculous, and thank God he came out recently because everyone who doesn't have him green should absolutely have him greened. Okay, this joke is getting too far. Number 1 is Garnet. Again, I've gushed about her enough, so I'm just going to give you the TLDR of how she works. One of the best BT effects, one of the best off-turn damage, the best support unit in the game, one of the best Imperil enchant in the game, easily the best BT expiration attack in the game, one of the best AoE attackers in the game. I think that gives you a good summary, right? She's out right now, by the way, so it's up to you to get her or not. Listen, this is her rerun. If you don't get her at this point, that's on you. Like, I'm not gonna feel bad. She's like on another level. She's freaking crazy, bro. I don't care if we are going to FR. You don't have Garnet greened, you'll green her. It's just it's just a fact of the matter. There are 5 necessities in living: food, water, shelter, clothing, and Garnet green. I mean, it is what it is. It's just how the world works at this point. You don't have her, you get her. No, I'm just joking. But best unit in the game, seriously, and easily best BT plus unit in the game. Anyways, that's it. Those are all of the best BT plus units in the City, Opera, Omnia, Global before FR, in my opinion. I'm popping up all of the honorable mentions right now. Let me know if you guys agreed or disagreed with this list. Did I get the order right? Did I get the order wrong? What unit should have been in top 10 besides any of the ones I listed? I cannot wait for the Monday live stream, and I cannot wait to green my boy Kane. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!